everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today to learn about how to book your calendar with many new leads using Lead Pilot. So let me just get us situated here. Before we go ahead and get started, just to make sure everyone can see and hear me okay, because I was having, of course, right before we started, just a couple of audio issues. If you wouldn't mind just putting in the chat box that you can see me and hear me all right, that would be great. That way I know we are all on the same page and that we're good to go. And we'll get started here in just 1 minute. And now I'm going to share my screen too. So let us know if you can see that. Okay, Amanda, it looks like everybody is good. Okay, great. All right, so let me share my screen. You guys let me know that you can see that, and hopefully we won't have any issues. I'd rather have the technical issues right before we get started than during the presentation. So just as you were all putting in the chat box, if you have anything to add to the conversation, that's where you'll want to put it, right there in the chat box. Everybody on the call can see and hear everybody else's comments. If you have something private that you would only like to send for me and Amanda Larson, who from my team is on the back end and will be answering questions, you can go ahead and put that in the Q&A panel. So we will record this and we will send it out to everybody after the presentation is over as well. So if you need to leave or anything for a minute, that's fine. So we are going to go ahead and get started and jump right in. So let me introduce myself a little bit more formally here. While I'm doing that, I'd love to know, for those of you on the call today, how many of you are currently using a 20/10 website for your business? And if you have used a 20/10 website or you're using one, you know, what else you're doing for marketing? Are you actively posting on social media? Are you, you know, trying out video? Are you blogging a lot? Are you doing email campaigns? Like, what has been your go-to strategy? It'd be really interesting to get some comments on that from this community. And I know for a lot of you that's changed in the last few months as we've all moved to much more digital engagement. Okay. So while you are all bringing those comments in, let me introduce myself. I'm Samantha Russell, the Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer here at 20/10. I would encourage you all right now to go to Twitter if you're on Twitter, or LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn. Those are my handles. On Twitter, it's Samantha20. On LinkedIn, it's Samantha C. Russell. I love connecting with all of you. And I'm going to show you later today an example of an advisor who sent me a social media post that he was about to post, asked me for some quick feedback on how to tweak it. I did that, and then he posted it and got such great engagement on that post. So many comments and likes. So if you connect with me, then you can tag me in your post if you're looking for someone to leave a quick comment, or you can send me something quickly and I can take a look. It's just a great way for me to connect with all of you as we all learn together how to be better at doing content marketing. Okay. So that's a picture, by the way, of me with my 2 children. Hudson is 4, almost 5. This picture's a few months old. Gracie, who I always say, she literally always looks mad in every photo, but she's a happy baby, and she just turned 2 in March. And like I said before, Amanda Larson from our team is in the background, and she'll be answering any questions that you might have. So let's jump right in and talk about how the most successful advisors are filling their calendar with online bookings today, completely through digital marketing. And what I'm referring to is what we call the digital referral shift. So yes, so many of you are still getting a lot of business from referrals, but the way that those referrals has happened or is happening today has greatly changed, right? So I just went to Facebook and did a simple search and came across these 2 people. I don't know Patricia or Liz, but found these posts where they both were looking for a financial advisor. Patricia just put into her general page, and Liz went to a particular group that she belongs to in Newport, which a lot of you, I'm sure, belong to Facebook groups for your community. So this is really, really common. No longer do people wait to ask, hey, who do you work with for a financial advisor till they run into somebody at a barbecue, or they think about it and they call up a friend. Instead, they might text 10 people on a group chain, or send an email to 15 of their golfing buddies, or go to social media and post it in a group. And what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Liz or Patricia are going to go and look up all 30 some people, 20 some people that they were recommended? Probably not, right? They're going to check out maybe the first few that come in, or the recommendations from people that they the most know and trust. And they're going to go to their websites. They're going to look at their LinkedIn or their social media profiles. And based upon what they find, they will book meetings with a few of those people. So that is really the process most of the time for how people are finding advisors today. And there's data that backs this up. So back in 2018, so this is already pretty out of date, right? This is 2 years ago, well before the coronavirus started. So many of us were at home. We already have seen huge increases in the amount of online activity. But even back in 2018, 41% of investors were using Google to find an advisor. And you can see 20% were using Facebook, 27% were using LinkedIn. So this has already been happening. Pershing hasn't released a new study, but I'm sure if they did, those numbers would be much, much greater today. And so what does this look like, right? There's 4 different levels to this inbound marketing funnel. And we're going to go through them. I'm going to give you some tangible takeaways of how you can make your content stand out and how you can do this. So the first thing is you need to be able to attract people to you, right? So that is having a really great website that's designed in a problem solution method. What is the problem clients like yours have? What is the solution that you provide? So we handle that through our 20 over 10 website platform. If you're not familiar with 20 over 10, certainly go to our website and check it out. It's just 20over10.com. And if you go to Showcase, you'll see so many great examples of sites that we have built or collaborated with advisors on. And if you click on any one of them, you can see their actual site, what plan, what framework they used, all that good stuff. So that is a great way to get some examples. Okay. Let me go back to that screen. So that's, table stakes. You have to have a website. Everybody nowadays knows they need to have social media presences, how often they post on them and what they post. We're going to get into it here in a minute. You need to be easily found online. So if we go back to that example of Patricia and Liz, some of the people that people mentioned, they're linking directly to their links, right? But other people, they might just give a name. So what if what if Patricia searches Joe Threston? What is she going to find? You need to be searchable. You need your name and your website and your business to come up all different ways people search you. If they search your name, if they search the business name, if they search a butchered version of the business name, you want to be easily found, right? So you obviously want your site to be mobile optimized. You want to have a blog, but then that's, again, just attracting traffic. Once you get that traffic, how do you go about actually turning people who are interested, who are learning about you, into booked meetings? And there's really 2 steps to that process. You want to have a place for them to go and read more about your thought leadership. And that's really called content marketing. Content marketing has completely flipped the script on the way we all find out about businesses and services and products and choose which ones to buy, right? So I'm going to give you a really great tangible example of this. There is a business, Corey Hill Advisors, based in St. Paul, Minnesota. Kyle Moore is the advisor behind this firm. And he started his firm back in 2017, going independent, and he only had 6 clients. And he wanted to grow quickly. And he really realized he loved working with corporate executives. So he had, worked at another firm under another advisor. He took 6 clients with him and realized he really enjoyed working with corporate executives, and that's what he wanted to focus on. So as he was building out his business, he realized, who's going to want to hire, a 32-year-old young guy who isn't backed by any big brand corporate name, not proven necessarily in the world. So I need to prove what I know by writing it down and providing that information for free. So he published this blog, this really comprehensive blog post, Can Capital Gains Push Me into a Higher Tax Bracket? And you'll see it's very intense. It's got all sorts of great information in here. It explains all different scenarios, runs the numbers, and then at the end, it's schedule an introductory call. It's very simple, right? So imagine if you are a corporate executive and you search for Can Capital Gains Push Me into a Higher Tax Bracket? And you find this blog post. Think about how much more likely you would be to reach out to Kyle and say, hey, I read your blog post. I booked a time on your calendar. I'm looking forward to talking with you. It seems like you work with a lot of other people just like me, right? Versus if Kyle just called you up on the phone. You're sitting in your office, you're in the middle of the workday, and you get a cold call from him. And he says, hi, I'm Kyle Moore from Corey Hill Advisors, and I work with corporate executives around the country. And, do you have questions about your taxes? It is a completely different approach. You're injecting yourself in someone's day, hoping they'll pay attention to your message. So that old outbound way of doing things just isn't the way that we all operate in 2020 anymore. Inbound, attracting people to us through the content and the thought leadership that we share is what is successful. And we see it, in every single market. If any of you sitting here today need to find a plumber or are looking for what restaurant to go to when you go to San Diego on vacation, or are searching out, the best books to buy for your kids to teach them about potty training, like I was recently doing, whatever it is, you go to the internet to explore and look for answers. So you need to be where those people are. There's a lot of different pieces to this, as we can all see. And so what happens is we know what we need to do. We know why it works, and it works across all industries, yet we don't see more financial advisors capitalizing on this digital referral shift to grow. Anybody have any idea why we don't see many people being successful at that? I'd love to hear what you all think before I share some of my thoughts on this, but we really see a vacuum in this area, right? We don't have a lot of people that are actually sharing great content. They aren't writing things, they aren't creating videos, they don't have email systems in place to drip on people. And so there's a few different reasons, we think why. The number one, though, really comes down to time. It's a lot of time to have 4 different things you need to do. You need to create social media content. You need to write content in general, long form blog posts. You need to put people in email drip campaigns and set up all the processes on the back end. You need to have landing pages that you funnel each individual person to. And for most of you, you became a financial advisor because of your expertise and interest in helping people with their money and their investments and their finances and their taxes, not because you wanted to be a marketer. And so we 100% get it. And so the tool that we built after working with advisors on their websites and their content marketing for years is called Lead Pilot. And this is a tool that combines all of these areas in one to make it easier for you. But rather than just say, here, we're going to give you all the exact same content to share, and you're all going to look and sound exactly alike, we have a different approach for customized, personalized content that you can use, but yet we automate the distribution on the back end. So here's a great example of this. Let's say you have a article, and the article is titled Re-entering the Workforce, Get a Refresh on Job Interview Etiquette. Rather than just sharing that article as is, let's say you work with Army vets. You could rewrite that as Army veterans, re-entering the civilian workforce, get a refresh on job interview etiquette. So much more powerful. If you send that in an email or post it on social media, you're going to get more engagement because your audience, it's going to resonate with them. They're going to see it and think, oh, this is meant for someone just like me. Or you could write, are you a retiree looking to re-enter the workforce? They'll never know how long it's been since your last interview if you follow these tips, right? So just taking the same topic, but changing up the way we're pitching it. And then the last one, maybe you work with a lot of young families. And because, the young families where their kids are finally getting older, you have a lot of moms that you work with who are going back to work. So you change it to, are you a stay-at-home mom re-entering the workforce? Here's a 5-step guide to give you the confidence to nail that first interview. So you can write the article once or use an article from within our library once, like in this previous example, but have it be specifically personalized for 3 different audiences. And that's where you're going to start to see the best ROI, is when you personalize that title. If you can personalize more of the article, it goes a long way, but personalizing the title alone will set you leaps and bounds above other people. So this is Lead Pilot itself, and I'm going to get, again, into more detail about all of these things, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about. So in Lead Pilot, we have this content library. There are right now 578 pieces in the library. We add 20 new pieces a month, and there's all kinds of topics. The first and most important thing I want you to know is that all of this content is editable. It's customizable down to the image, what it says when you share it on social media, everything. So you can choose by topic. So I just chose trending topics. You can choose by personas if you only want to target a specific type of person. Once you choose your article, you can come in and customize it. So exactly how I just showed you in that last slide, just by changing the title, you can create one article or take one article and have it go out to multiple different audiences that you've segmented for the highest ROI, so that people will immediately read it. They'll see those identifying keywords and they'll think, oh, this person is talking to me. This advisor works with people just like me. And that is going to lead them to want to work with you because they have identified that you are someone who helps people like them. So in this example here, you know, your employer suspended its 401k matching, now what, right? So let's say we want to make a draft and you know that you work with a lot of people at Pepsi and Pepsi suspended. I'm not saying that they did, by the way, this is just an example, but let's say that you found out Pepsi suspended its 401k matching during COVID. So you could say Pepsi employees. Okay. Is your, or was your 401k matching suspended during COVID? What to do next, right? So you can get very, very granular with your titles. Now you could leave it like that, or you could come in here and say something in the intro, right? Our team works with many Pepsi employees, whatever it is you want to say about that specific segment. So all of the content in here is completely editable. Once you're ready to disseminate it, distribute it, you would save that. You can have it as a draft, and then you can have multiple drafts of one topic. So again, if you go back to that content tab, because you might want to have 3 different versions of one article, it makes sense to have, multiple drafts, right? You might have 3 different or 4 different audiences. So you can have multiple drafts of the same article. Once you're ready to share a draft of that post, you come in here, you click schedule for later, you choose the date and the time that you want it to go out. And now we've already set up in the social sharing tabs what it will say when you share it. So here we have 16.1% of employers have cut matching 401k contributions in light of COVID, blah, blah, blah. But you can change that as well to be specific to your audience. So you might say Pepsi is one of those, right? Now this is going out on social media, so for all your followers. So you don't want to necessarily get as hyper specific for just one company on social media, but you get the idea. You can be more specific here. Now, what happens when somebody clicks this post? That's an important question. It's not going to take them back to your website. So Lead Pilot is actually website agnostic. It's 4 tools in one: email marketing, social media scheduling, landing pages, and content. But when they land on this piece, they're not being taken back to your website. They're being taken to this branded landing page. So you can see here the name of the company, the title of the article, the advisor's photo. Each advisor gets their own branded landing page. So now Mark Summers can share content for doctors and physicians, while Samantha Russell at the firm might not want to share content for those audiences, right? So we could each have our own specific content we're sharing, and you can have different buttons and calls to actions throughout that prompt them to do different things. So for instance, you can have them visit your website. You can have a pop-up that has them book time on your calendar. You can, click this button, schedule a free time to chat, or in this case, I have a sample asset map because we did a webinar with asset map recently. So you could have them go to your asset map or your e-money or your Riskalyze questionnaire. Whatever it is that you want to set up as your call to action can be embedded in those areas. And you'll also see what it looks like on mobile here. So it looks beautiful. It's all customized there. So we can pick and choose where we want it to go. My favorite part is that the email panel is in this as well. So as a marketer who manages many different systems, I love this. We can also send this directly to our email. So let's say we don't want to send it to everybody, but we want to send it to people that work at a particular company, right? We can just send it to Pepsi or ExxonMobil or Johns Hopkins employees. And then we can customize the email to say something like, has your employer suspended its 401k matching, or Pepsi employees, whatever it is you want to do. You can, again, change the image here to make it really, really simple to customize it for your particular audience at the click of a button. You can change all of this language. All of it is changeable and editable by you. So once you've done all that, you'll go ahead and you'll click schedule, and now it's ready to go. Now, if you need to get all of this, you want to have a compliance workflow ahead of time, we package everything up with a compliance PDF that you can submit ahead of time. And I will show you in a minute our multi-step campaigns, which those have a compliance PDF as well. And that makes it really easy so that you can submit multiple pieces all at once. But you'd be able to do that as well and see where it's going. So that is the steps in terms of editing the content, right? But let's go back and think about what people have in common who are not just sharing content, but what does their content have in common that's really helping them to win? So we already talked about this, the fact that they're using identifier words in their title and in their social post. So you want to speak directly to the people that will be reading it, watching it. You want them to identify with what you're posting. Otherwise, you're not going to get their attention. We have so many messages being shared with us every day. We need to do that. Another thing you can use, this is called from CoSchedule. It's their free headline analyzer tool. So if you were deciding between, number 1 and number 2, and you wondered which was better, you can use their free tool and it will help you determine, okay, here's all the different headline options. Which one is the best? So we already, again, have done a lot of the heavy lifting for you and added some of this stuff in there. But if you really want to customize it and get even more granular, maybe you have an intern or a marketing admin on your team who's going to do this for you, this is a great way that they can get a lot of guidance without needing to, hire a consultant to do it for them. Okay, Amanda, did we have any questions that this would be a good time to pause and take live that came up, or should I keep going?
I think you can keep going. One of the biggest ones was about compliance, which you sort of covered already. So.
Okay, and I can get in a little bit more into compliance in a second here. So as I showed you, you're able to customize any of your social media posts in that tool and schedule them out in advance. But let's talk about the anatomy of a social media post and what makes for a good post versus a bad post. So number 1 rule, don't start your posts with words like I or my or we. So you wouldn't want to say, here's my social media tips, or here's my retirement planning tips. You would want to say how to write better social media tips. You want to give people an action-oriented item that they can check off their list, 5 steps to do X, 10 reasons why Z. Or you want to ask them a question, pose a question. So do you know about this? Or what do you think of that? So eliminate I, my, or we off the beginning of your social media posts. The next thing you want to do is make sure you're not using what we call passive voice. So if we look at this first example up here, completing these tasks can help you achieve your goals. Reach out if you'd like to discuss more. And then it's just 7 financial tasks to tackle while you've got the time. this is super bland. It doesn't tell us at all who it's for, who should read it, who's the audience. It's so generalized. What kinds of goals are we talking about, right? There's a reason that nobody has liked or commented or clicked on this, because it doesn't speak to anyone. It speaks to no one. It's trying to be so broad that it's accomplishing nothing. Versus if we look at this post down here from Jeannie Fisher, who partners with businesses to provide 401k plans, she says, do you have less than 500 employees and are you facing financial issues from the coronavirus? Here's how to get your $10,000 stimulus check, right? So that is so specific for her audience. And so we can see she got 70 engagements, like, celebrations, and 5 comments, much, much more engaging of a piece. It's also timely. It's talking about something that's affecting people in real time, right? The coronavirus. So you can absolutely do the same thing with your own posts, and we make it really easy. We'll get to those tips in a second, in Lead Pilot, because again, we have that category, which is trending topics. So at any time, if you click trending topics, you're going to see all different kinds of articles that are about the pulse of what's going on in the country. And you can use these to really propel your social media presence and have engaging, timely content, right? All of the content that's in Lead Pilot is also written by our own team in-house. So you're not going to find this content anywhere else online. We're not repurposing it from the New York Times or the Motley Fool. We're not buying it and syndicating it. And that's also why you can completely customize and edit it and use it in multiple places. You can use it on your website. You can use it in email campaigns because of the way that we've created it. If you are talking about things that are timely and things that are important to people right now, you're also going to get more calendar bookings, because the questions and the mindset that people have in that moment, you're addressing. So think about it this way. If somebody's been thinking for 3 years, I really need to work with an advisor, and then COVID hits and their business income just completely plummets because of the way they were structured and they can no longer be operating business as usual, and then they see a post that pertains specifically to them, they're going to be much more likely right at the bottom when that schedule a consultation button to click it and book a meeting, right? So having the calendar link is crucial. You want to make sure you've embedded your calendar link, which I can show you guys how to do that. But it's also crucial that you share timely content. And so through this entire time, March through now, we've added 3 to 4 new pieces every week about current topics for our Lead Pilot customers to use. Great question. Someone asked, can we take any of this content and turn it into a video? I'm so glad that you asked, because you can. And I can show you what that looks like. So let's say you have a video on, can I still retire? How COVID-19 is affecting retirement plans. So I'm just gonna pull up a YouTube video quick to show you what that looks like. And this is our YouTube video YouTube channel, by the way, 20 over 10's YouTube channel. If you haven't already, you want to subscribe, because we put all of these great tips for how to increase your social media engagement, how to write a social post on here, and share a clip every week. So you can subscribe and get all of that great info. Okay, so here's the video I found. So I'm going to open it up.
That gets this. That way our healthcare workers can do a better.
All you're going to do is grab that URL at the top, and in your post. So again, you can take, going back to the question, let's say you found this article in our library and you said, oh, this is great. I really need to talk about all these things. Use this as your script. You can submit this to compliance and say, here's a script of what I want to talk about on video about how the coronavirus is impacting retirement plans. Can you guys approve it? Make sure it's good. It gives you all of the different sections. So it even breaks it down with those headers, right? This bolded text of what the topic will be about. Record the video, upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you want to host it. And then you're just going to paste in the video URL. And that's it. Could not be simpler. I'm telling you guys, this product is life-changing. We are obsessed with it because we built it to solve the needs that we know everyone is having, because we worked with all of you for so many years. So that's how you would add in a video. The other thing is you can use your own content. So if you're saying this tool is great, but I already create my own blogs and my own videos and my own podcasts. Well, one of the issues that we know people have is if you're creating all this great content and you're sending people to YouTube, how do you turn somebody watching this video on YouTube into a lead? How do you get them to book on your calendar, right? You need a place to send them, a landing page. So that is the other element that Lead Pilot fills. We allow you to create customized branded landing pages, unlimited number, as many as you want through the tool. So even if you already have your own, YouTube channel or something like that, you can still, let's just say, can I still retire amid COVID-19? And let's pretend you're going to write up a whole post about that right here. And then you're going to drop your video in, going to insert it, right? And then you want to upload a featured image. So you just take maybe like a quick screenshot of that, or you have a thumbnail of that, whatever it is that you want. And you can add that in as your featured image. I probably wouldn't use that one because it's a bad picture, but you get what I mean, right? You can take a screenshot and then upload it. Are all of you aware of how to do that? How to take screenshots? I can show you really quick. So you would just, I would think everybody would. You take a screenshot of the actual picture. Let me go back to the beginning here. And here we go. I got the screenshot, and then I'd come back in here. So many tabs open, sorry everyone. And then I would just pop it in. And it will upload the image as, if it doesn't like the sizing, it might just take a second. But so now you can say, right? And then one tip too, if you are sharing video, you want to make sure up here that you write video so that people know it's a video. That's a great way to do it. So we can save that. We have our own custom draft that we've created, and now we can schedule it out to share. It's still, again, going to be on those branded landing pages. So think about how much time you are going to save by not needing to recreate a landing page every single time you want to post a new piece of content. So someone comes here, they watch your video, and then they want to schedule a call and book on your calendar, right? You're always redirecting them back to the idea that it's super easy for them to book a time on your calendar to talk to you about whatever it is that you're sharing. So this tool can be used for your own content. You can use our content library and share it as is and just make small tweaks. Or you can go in and add your podcast or your video to the landing pages themselves. Okay, I see some good questions coming in that I'll answer, and then we'll go back to talk a little bit more about campaigns, which is super exciting, and the way the contacts work as they come in. Okay, so give me a second while I pull those up. How do I embed? Oh, using Redtail. Okay. So in terms of the way the contacts work, so let's say somebody fills out that form that we just went through and showed, right? And what happens to them next? So they're going to come into this page here under contacts. Now you can just wait and only let those that come in organically through Lead Pilot come in, but we highly suggest that you upload your prospects and your clients into Lead Pilot so that you can continue to cultivate relationships with your current clients through this tool. And you can continue to, prospect on people that you already have the info for. So under your settings, under integrations, you can see some of the integrations that we have. With Wealthbox and Redtail, we have two-way integration. So you can set it up to be one-way or two-way. So do you want all of the new leads that come in to Lead Pilot also to be put into Wealthbox? You can do it that way, or you can say, I want that, and I want to auto import my contacts from Wealthbox into Lead Pilot as well. So you can do it two-way or one-way, and it's the same exact options with Redtail. And then with Riskalyze, what's really fun, we not only have it so that the contacts can come in, but that the risk numbers associated with those contacts can come in too. So I'll show you what that looks like. If you're using Salesforce, Riskalyze integrates with Salesforce, so it can act as like the intermediary between the two. So again, what does that look like here? Here is the contacts tab. You see the person's name, their email. Their lead score is a proprietary algorithm that our team has created that will rank how good of a lead that they potentially are based upon different engagement that they have. And what I mean by that is, let's just pull up an example here. We can look at somebody's history and see every single piece of content that they're reading, they're opening, they're clicking on. So you start to get a sense of what is Samantha, the prospect, most interested in learning about, right? And you can put her on different lists or segment her based upon the actions that she's taking. Our system will use the amount of engagement any one prospect has to assign them a lead score. Now, you can also give feedback to the system and rank the lead. So if they are, or the prospect, I'm sorry, rank the client or the prospect. So if you actually say, actually, they're only a 1 star, they're terrible, give them 1 star, and the system will learn from the feedback that you give. So you can see leave different notes here. You can add them to different lists that you want them to be on. My favorite thing about the contacts, you're all, get ready for your mind to be blown, is this little section right here. So if you click on Profile Insights, this is going to unlock everything we can find online about this person based upon the email they gave you. So, who they are, their picture, if we can find it, where they live, are they male or female, how old are they, what's their website, what's their social profiles, where do they work, where did they used to work, and when, what dates did they work there? Pretty much everything you could need to know. So between the history of what they're reading and engaging, how to connect with them beyond just their email address, and then where they've worked, what they're interested in, you have so much at your fingertips to make a warm handoff to get this person to book time on your calendar, right? So you can email Samantha a one-off email and say, hi, Samantha, I saw that you've been reading a ton of the content that our team has been putting out about the coronavirus and how it affects your retirement. And I see you had a long and storied history working at XYZ company. Are you planning to retire anytime soon? If you'd like to have an in-person conversation about some of the thought leadership we shared around that topic, let me know. Here's my calendar. And then you can wait a couple days and send them another email, right? So dripping on them over time based upon their own particular interests. That is hyper-personalized content that converts into calendar bookings. All right. Other things about the contact library, you can also import a full list of contacts on your own here if you like. And we, of course, we want you to hyper-personalize content. You can segment your audience by any possible way you can think. So for you, it might be that you want everybody who's 65 and older to be on one list because you're going to send them content that way, or everybody that works in a specific area. But so these lists are manual lists that you create and then add people to. Segments are what we call smart segments. So you'll create the segment based upon different factors and rules. So you could say if the email address for that person contains Mayo Clinic, put them on the segment name of doctors, right? And also if anybody else's email address contains the name Cleveland Clinic, put them on that same list. And then you can preview, this is demo data, so I don't have everybody who meets that criteria. So this automatically updates on its own, which is just another great process to have so that you don't have to manually go back and add people. If you want to take some of the content that you're sharing from Lead Pilot and add it to your website, this platform can do that too. So if you already have a website that you're adding great content to, you want to continue to do that on your website natively because that's going to be best for SEO. The content lives on your website and Google will rank your website well based on the keywords that you share. But if you also just want to add fresh pieces to your website so that when somebody comes there, they see them, you can do that through an RSS feed. So right here under shared content, you can see this copy RSS URL. You would click that, it's going to copy the URL, and then you would just paste it into the RSS feed section of your website. If you're a 20 over 10 customer, we have a really easy to follow guide on how to do that, or you can contact our support team, support@20over10.com, and it will feed that into your website. So that's really, really easy to do. Somebody's asking about Salesforce. Again, we do not currently have a direct integration with Salesforce. However, what you would do on the contacts tab is import by CSV file, which sometimes is actually easier. You can designate all of the particular lists that you want it to go to then. That way, if you add a form field, and our support team can help you with this. Oh, I guess I should also mention, if you sign up with Lead Pilot, automatically included when we get you set up, we first have you go through this start guide and connect your social accounts. You know, you need to add in, you know, your social connection so you can start sharing your email. But then our onboarding team will help make sure that this is all functioning correctly, and work with you to answer any technical questions you have on setup. So you can certainly take advantage of that. That's included, that onboarding session is included with all subscriptions. You know, there's no extra charge for that. So let me just pull up the Lead Pilot page really quickly. Since we are coming up on time, I have some other things I want to share, but just in case you need to leave. This is the Lead Pilot pricing page. So you can see for one primary account, it's $249 a month if you pay annually, $299 a month if you pay month to month. And then for each seat, it's $100 a seat. So if you were, again, if you recall, I mentioned how every single person who uses the platform would have their own dedicated landing page template that they can design that will have their profile, links to all of their accounts, all that good stuff. So you can see here, you can have multiple advisors under one team. So each of those additional seats for individual advisors would be $100 per person per month. You can also use that if you have a podcast or a webinar series or some other thing that has its own social profiles and own email list, and you want it to have its own template. You can just buy a separate seat for it. Now, again, just in case you need to leave early, I will say we currently are offering, and we've been doing this since April, these two coupon codes. So 50% off of either annual or month-to-month plans. So, you know, the prices would be according either $125 or $149 if you sign up by July 15th. So that is going until July 15th, that 50% off, and you get that for the entire first year. After the first year ends, it would go back to the list price that we showed, or if you're a 20 over 10 website user, you'd get a 30% off discount of Lead Pilot because you're a 20 over 10 website user. So you get 50% off the first year. And then at the end of the first year, it would either go to this pricing or the 30% off because you are a 20 over 10 customer. Hope that makes sense. If you want to talk with someone on our team about Lead Pilot and how this all fuels and works together, you would just click the get started. Oops. Well, you can go in and create an account on your own if you click get started. And I'm already logged in, so it's taking me back here, but it will give you a registration page. So you can go in and sign up. You'll automatically get a 14-day free trial. You do need to enter a credit card because you're automatically going to get access to all of this content right out of the gate. But your card will not be charged for 14 days. So as long as you sign up, enter your credit card. If you cancel within 14 days, you can play around with the whole system, show it to your team, do whatever you need to do, and then use that coupon code that Amanda's giving out. We'll also email you the coupon code to get the 50% off in the entire first year. Okay. Just let me show you campaigns really quick because there were some questions about automated campaigns. So this is our campaigns tab. You can create your own campaigns that are specific to an area so here's one, you know, for a local Austin area, and they're very drag and drop modular approach. So you click the add button, you select a piece of content, you come in here, you choose, you know, a new piece, and then you add it into your campaign here, and it's all done by day. So it's showing us day 1 at 9 a.m. This is going to go to Twitter. Day 4 at 9 a.m. That's going to go to Twitter. So maybe we say we want to share this to all of our social channels, but not email. So we're going to confirm that, and we want that to happen on day 5, but we want it to happen at 11 a.m. And you could, you know, get really granular here, 11:05 a.m., whatever it is you want to say. So these are drip campaigns that go out over time, right? that's great and it's wonderful and it's really easy to do. But for a lot of you, I know what you want is pre-made campaigns. So if you come here to create campaigns, we have these curated campaigns. Again, our team has taken the content in the library and put them together, but you can also customize them. So you come in here, there's all different types. Currently there's 8, and we will be adding 4 per month, every month. And so you can choose them, you know, by different topics. You click on them and it will show you, I think that one is loaded. We just launched these. It will show you who that campaign is for and how many pieces are in that particular piece of campaign, who it's going to get, what social profiles it's going to go to. So again, talk about automated drip. You can personalize still the title, the headline, whatever it is you want, but it will automate it so that you know I can log into Lead Pilot once at the beginning of the month and all of this content is going to automatically go out for me. So you don't need to constantly be in here updating everything. You also are going to get alerts in the dashboard when different things happen, right? So here, Ryan R has a high lead score of 88. This is basically your prompt to say, reach out to him. You know, this person is highly engaged with your content. And you have all of the analytics for all the platforms in one place. Think about that. You no longer have to say, how did this piece of content perform on Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn versus when we emailed it? You can take a certain piece of content, you know, filter by it, and then look and see how it performed. So, okay, that content did not perform great, right? So you can choose any one individual piece to see how that piece did. So it makes it really, really easy when you're analyzing your analytics to get some great data on how things are performing. Keep up with the questions, keep them coming. I'm happy to keep answering them as we go. But again, if you want to get started, you would go to leadpilot.io. You can email our team or call that number. Or if you want to follow the calendar link that Amanda put in, it's probably the easiest way to get started just on our homepage here. You can click this schedule a one-on-one demo. You can also check out these solution pages, which go through and show you each of the different solutions we have, way more than I got to go into today, what it allows you to do. And you can see some great testimonials from people who are using it and how it's impacted their process for marketing their business, right? So check all of those out as well. Okay. Just wanted to show this to you. So this is a great example as we end out here to not ever stop remembering how much taking a few minutes to customize what you're putting out can make a huge difference. So here's an example of a LinkedIn post that saw great results after it was tweaked. So this gentleman, Thomas Kopelman, I got his permission to share his info. He reached out to me and said, I'm going to be sharing this post and I want to make sure that, you know, I write it the right way. I read your post about the do's and don'ts of how you should share things. Can you help me fix it? So if you look at the first one, and maybe you guys who are still on can put in the chat box, what do you see wrong with that first one? Does anybody remember from the do's and don'ts that I shared of what specifically he's doing wrong in this post? Because it's pretty evident, but again, look at the post on the left and think about what is he doing that you would immediately see and think, okay, that's, you know, the wrong way to do it. Okay, I see some people saying he's me using about himself. Yes, 100%. It's all about him and it's not about the intended audience. So we rewrote it to say, have you ever thought blah, blah, blah. And then talking about everybody's different. That's okay. You need to know this when you're hiring an advisor. Here's my 10 beliefs, why they're so important and how they impact my clients. And then which one resonates with you the most? Leave a comment and share it below. And he got 23 comments and 24 likes on that post in 24 hours just by tweaking what it said. He actually wrote me back and was like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And this is not uncommon. People all of the time will tell me, I never ever thought I would just have somebody reach out to me because of what I posted on LinkedIn or an email I sent. But what happens is you stick around, you stay consistent, you be there all the time, answering questions people have, providing relevant content. And then one day they're going to message you and say, you know, I've been meaning to reach out to you. My friend so-and-so told me, I've been following you, and now I'm ready to finally commit and book a time. And that's how it works, folks. It's really not rocket science. It's all about consistency and sticking with it as much as you can. In the Lead Pilot library, just before we answer any remaining questions, I do want to point out, so we do, of course, have all of this great editorial content, but we also, make sure all my filters are off, have infographics. So if you're looking for really highly engaging infographics, they're in here. Again, you can completely use them. And remember, because they're all going to go on those beautiful branded landing pages, you don't need to do anything else to them to add your logo or anything. It's automatically going to be there. So that is fantastic. Tons of infographics that you can use, always adding more. We also have video. So you can use any of these videos as well. And when, I love this one, the true cost of owning a pet.
You can't put a price tag on your 4 or 2-legged friend.
Right, so that's what they look like. Again, they're all going to be on these beautiful branded landing pages as well. So tons of great content for you to use, 100% customizable. If you want to use it partially, the whole thing, bits and pieces of it, it's really easy to do. And okay, I just saw more questions. Just for those of you that are leaving, and then I'll stay on and answer any other questions. Again, there's that coupon code for 50% off your first year. That is good until July 15th. Please do not email us asking us on July 30th if we can extend the code, because I have that happen all the time. So you need to check it out. There's a 14-day free trial. You have more than 2 weeks to, discover whether or not it's good. So use that to determine whether or not it's a good fit for you. And if you haven't already, please, please, please connect with me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'm happy to, analyze any of your social posts and help you out with those as well. Okay, I'm going to stick on and answer a few more questions. What is the most successful way you've seen advisors drive traffic to a landing page? Definitely email. If you want to get a lot of people, email's number one. Now, you may not be talking about people that you don't already have an email for. So there's a difference, right? If you have an email list, but a lot of those people are just prospects that you would love to get meetings booked, I'd write a great email. And at the bottom, make sure you have that schedule a meeting button, or make that the part of your template, and drive people that way. If you are talking about, how do you do it for new people that you don't have an email address for already? There's a few different things you can do. On social media, you can comment on other people's posts with relevant information. So if you have a great article on can capital gains push me into a higher tax bracket, you could come into LinkedIn and you could search capital gains tax, right? And then after you get your listing, you could look for content. And now you might go through and see if people have questions, see what comments there are about a particular topic, and answer those and have a link to your website. You can do the same thing on Facebook, on Twitter, anywhere else. You could do that on platforms like Quora as well. So anywhere where people are asking questions, that's where you can go. Oh, sorry, somebody said they couldn't find my profile. Here it is. I'll put the link in here. But it's Samantha C. Russell is in the URL, but if you search Samantha Kulovic Russell, it will come up. Okay. Any other questions that we didn't get to answer, please let me know. We thank you all so much for joining us today, and hopefully that really helps you get a sense of moving the needle from social media posts, email, to always driving home the idea that they should book a meeting on your calendar, and how easy it is to use the process through Lead Pilot. I really, really hope that that is helpful to you, and that you can see how much time that this will save you. That I think will make a huge difference. Okay. Oh, somebody asked, what is the best way to promote client referrals? You mean just asking clients to refer you? Kaylee, I hope that's what you mean. Oh, okay. So, there's lots of different tactics that I've seen work. I always like to ask for referrals right after I've done something that makes people really pleased with me. So if you, if somebody on your team just did a win with someone, right? Like they had a great meeting with a client and the client felt like they really answered their questions and moved the needle afterwards, I think, sending them an email saying, that was a great conversation. We answered all of your questions, hopefully. I think it was really beneficial. If you know other corporate executives that are struggling with the same topics, here's an article that we wrote all about it. Feel free to share it with them. And you can share them an article, can capital gains push me into a higher tax bracket, with the link at the bottom with the referral. The great thing about Lead Pilot, because you can have so many different variations of a single landing page, you could have a landing page. Let's say you have a really great client and they have 100 colleagues that are potential prospects for you. You could have a landing page and at the top it says, hi, friend of Joe. Thanks for visiting today. Joe let me know that he had some other friends that had questions about capital gains tax. So I offered for him to share this, content with all of you. Read on below. And if you're interested in scheduling a meeting, my link's at the bottom. So you could do that right in your landing page, customize it because you have that particular link for just Joe to share. And that's the power of Lead Pilot, right? You have the amount of personalized landing pages you can create is completely endless, and you don't have to keep creating them over and over again. You just create the different content and it automatically goes on the page. I'm telling you guys, this is revolutionary. Yes, we will send a replay. Somebody said, should they post their advisor fees? Absolutely. We have a great blog post about that. Let me find it. Transparency, I think 100% is key. Oh, here we go. I found it. And honestly, we've heard from a lot of advisors who've told us that clients have said, I wanted to work with you just based on the fact that you were so transparent with your fees and what you charge. So this is the blog post, how to include them on your website. And there's tons of examples of creative different ways that you can include them to show value, to have different fee structures, even little GIFs that show that. So definitely check that article out. Okay, for all of you that are still on, thank you for sticking with us through the very end and for your time today. Again, it's leadpilot.io. If you want to book a meeting, 14-day free trial, you can get started with today. I know our sales team is a little bit backed up because of so much interest. So if you can't get on their calendar for a little bit, but you have the 14-day free trial, that will allow you to play around with it. You can add the coupon code in as well with the coupon code that we gave you. And if you have any questions at all, you can email us from the same email that invited you to today's webinar, and we'll answer any questions that you have. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.